He was raised in his grandmother's bordello on the black side of Peoria, Illinois. Never had much schooling. His urge for self-destruction has been awesome, but most critics agree, whatever his faults, he's a genius at his craft. Our guest, Richard Pryor.
When I admitted to myself I was an alcoholic, it was after I'd stopped doing drugs, right? Doing drugs. And I hadn't drank for about, I guess, 2 months. Before I admitted I had a problem. Really? Man, and then one day I was in bed and something happened. It was that rush of energy. I was on the phone and it didn't come out the way I wanted it to, you know. I was laying there saying, get a drink. And it dawned on me, that's what you do. When something happens, get a drink. You deaden what you're feeling. Feel this now. This time, feel it. And I went through that feeling and I went to the meeting and I said, I admitted I was an alcoholic. I knew it then, for sure.
The greatest stand-up comedian and the greatest storyteller ever is Mr. Richard Pryor. Here is live in concert on a CED video disc, something I've had forever. Very great concert. Anyways, like I said, he was the best stand-up and best storyteller ever. And here he is in the 80s after his burn accident, after he got clean, giving a sit-down, honest, and open interview. So without further ado, Mr. Richard Pryor.
You had a heart attack?
Yeah,
once.
yeah.
Almost burned yourself out?
Yep.
I can't imagine you behind the wheel in those days.
I go home sometime, I drive home now, and I say to my lady friend, I said, Deborah, I used to drive down to here 90, 100 miles an hour, I'd be drunk. And I would get home and not know how I got there. And I would, thank God I didn't never hit anyone.
What makes a man live so close to the edge?
I think it's maybe everyone has a child in them. Everyone has a child in them. And I think it was the child that didn't want to grow up. And he's a spoiled brat, and he's going to do it the way he wants to do it, even if it kills him. I'm going to do it this way. Instead of, it takes sometimes for a person to hit the wall, for them to get knocked to their knees, I mean, really knocked down, to kind of go, look, why fight it? You're a nice person. Why don't you just try to go ahead, man, and take it a day at a time, just be nice. What's the big deal? What's it matter? You know, and you get on that treadmill. Oh, you're Richard Pryor, you're this. You can do this. There's nothing you can't do. You're this, you're great. And you go, I got to keep great. I got to look great, take a pill. You know, and I'll go out and look great for them and do great. And then pretty soon, you know, you're just gone. And then you turn around one day, everything that you avoided in your life comes in the room to talk to you. Excuse me, could I get 5 minutes, please? You know, but I remember you from when I was 3. Yes, but I wanted to talk to you then. You didn't deal with me. You know, and all of it, boom, for me, I was lucky. I'm glad it happened.
Where did this talk happen? In the hospital room?
No, in my room, before I went to the hospital. I mean, all the demons showed up. You know, said, we got to talk to you, pal.
While you're laying there burned.
Yeah, we want to talk to you. I want you to get this. You got it? You understand? I think it's God's way. I always like to joke that somewhere the angel said, oh, God, Richard's on fire. Huh? Oh, wait. You know, put it out like that. You know.
He could have let you burn, but he did.
Yeah. You know, the people say to me, why don't you say something to drug addicts? Say something to kids taking drugs. And I say, what can I say? Look at me. This is my life. I can only tell you about me. Because every human being, even if you tell them, if they don't get it, it don't mean nothing. They have to hit that wall themselves. Sometimes they die.
Yeah, but you've got kids. If you saw one of your kids heading for the wall, right? Yeah. Drugs, booze, cars, you're going to let them smack?
No. I had one of my children. I caught, it was funny. I went home and her and a friend were in the room alone and they, hi, Daddy, and, you know, all charming, wonderful. And I went in and I found this tin can. It was scraped out, and there was marijuana on it that they smoked through the Pepsi can or something, you know. I said, Wait a minute. I know what this is. What are you doing? Oh, you know that look? Oh, well, I said, you told me you lied to me. You said you don't do drugs. I said, you've seen what happened to me. Why do you have to do this? And all I could do was talk to her and look at her face, you know. I said, baby, why? Don't. You don't have to. You're stupid. Don't be stupid like your daddy. But still, no. When she left that room, there was something inside me that said she's going to have to find out for herself. I can pray, and I can work with her, talk to her, but there's nothing you can do. I mean, children, they don't see it the way we see it.
Did you really grow up in a whorehouse?
Yes. Yes.
How'd you survive that?
Did I have a choice?
Well, I mean, today if they put a child in a classroom with more than 20 students, they say the child is being deprived.
Oh.
You know what I'm getting at?
I don't know exactly, but I'm listening to you. You know, I'm trying to feel out your words. It's just my life. That's the way it was. I didn't know no other life, so I didn't know nothing about it being deprived.
Yeah, but at some point it started to hurt, didn't it?
Yes, I think it did.
It kicked you out of school when you were 9 years old?
Yes.
Catholic school?
Yeah.
And they found out the nature of your family business?
Yeah, that hurt.
That hurt?
Yeah. That hurt, but it hurt only because it hurt my mother. You know? I didn't like that it hurt her. Whatever it was, I didn't know what it was, but whatever it was, I felt it was wrong. And I was surprised because of the Catholics, you know? I figured, hey, there's something wrong. You know, Catholic people, they're not going to, not these ladies in the robes. They weren't fair. And it wasn't fair. And
I think it was Kennedy or somebody said life ain't fair.
no, it's not. But it's life.
You mentioned your grandmother. She used to take you to tent revivals now and then, right?
She'd take me to get the devil taken out of me.
Really? I mean, at the tent revival, and they'd
Yeah.
say, here's little Richard?
Yeah.
What, he's a bad boy, take the devil?
Yeah.
Are you serious?
Yeah. And I never got it, because the guy put his hand on me and do all that stuff, and I look at this white man taking the devil out of me. And I never felt nothing.
Maybe you wanted the devil.
I never felt nothing go out. I just felt stupid standing up there in front of all those people. And I said, maybe I'll jump and flip around like all those others do. But I never flipped around. I never had no magic happen to me like that. I had a grandfather. He could find water with a peach tree, you know? And he'd, in the field when he had the peach tree, he'd do that, you know, bend down, and he could, there's water here. And I said, let me try it. You know, he gave me the tree. And just a tree. There's nothing. I was going to see, you're different. You don't have it. You're not like everybody else. I mean, I wanted to be. I remember I took saxophone lessons, and my dad said, you don't have to go take them no more. The guy said, you don't have no soul. And I was destroyed. You know, I took the horn, tried to flush it down the toilet. You know, I'm just different. I said, nothing I can do. Where can I fit? And then I found the comedy. I found in school, you know, when I'd laugh, make people laugh. Nobody could make them laugh like me. I played at dozens. Nobody could do it better. You know? And so I belong. That's how I belong. I had a great fifth grade school teacher, Miss Yinks. And she'd said, Richard, you'd be good this week, and on Friday you get to do a show. So I'd be studious. And Friday, I got 10 minutes.
In the classroom?
Yeah.
And would the kids laugh?
Yeah.
You're from Peoria. What was Harlem like the first time you saw Harlem, New York City?
I've never seen that many black people in my life. I mean, in 2 blocks, I saw more black people than I'd ever seen in my life. Just 2 blocks, and it was beautiful. It was exciting to me. You know, and I looked, and I felt it. I loved it. And I wanted to be a part of it, you know. And I walked, and everybody talking about don't walk too hard. I felt safe as I ever felt in my life, you know. I walk and I look and I know everybody, you know, I knew.
They all look like you.
Yeah, and it was comfortable. Felt good. Because I remember Red Fox and I were walking down the street one day in New York, downtown, and the kids run up to me and, "Hi, Richard Pryor," and I just say, "This is Red Fox," you know, to introduce. He said, "Don't introduce me. You know, they don't know me." Then we went up to Harlem, and everybody knew him. You know, they go, "Hey, Zorro. How you doing, Zorro? Hey, Red," you know. And maybe one or two people go, "Rich Pryor? Yeah, hey, Zorro," you know, it was like I said, "Wait a minute, I'm in the wrong place. I'm known in the wrong area. I want to be known here. I want people to talk to me like they talk to Red." You know, that felt good.
You know, it's kind of funny he talks about going to Harlem and meeting black people. Well, a couple years later, he would do Live on the Sunset Strip and talk about going to Africa. Black people, as he would say. Now, Live on the Sunset Strip is the funniest stand-up movie ever. Sorry, Eddie Murphy. Sorry, Cat Williams. Sorry, whoever. Chris Hart. No. Live on the Sunset Strip is the greatest stand-up movie ever. It's on VHS, DVD, whatever. Buy it. It's fantastic. If you don't own this, why not? Live on the Sunset Strip, Richard Pryor. You will not go wrong. All right, back to the show.
You described the humor that you were doing at that time as kind of soft white bread.
Yeah?
What'd that mean?
Did I say that?
Yeah.
Well, it was like safe. It wouldn't. It was just one of those opening acts, you know. It was safe. I had 25 minutes, and here you have it. I didn't feel nothing exciting about it for me, nothing in my gut. And then one night, I kept feeling that way. And this one night, of all nights, I mean, it was opening night and a lot of people there. And
where were we now?
at the Aladdin Hotel.
In Las Vegas?
Yeah. And I was there, and I walked out, and somebody said, "Dean Martin's here." And well, I would really love Dean Martin, right? You know, I'm going out, and something in me just said, "Hold it. Look out there, look. You want them to see you like this? This ain't you. And leave. Go away." And I left.
You disappeared for 2 years.
I went away. I had to. You know, I felt there was nothing I could do. I didn't want to be this. I didn't want the money. I didn't want it. Not like that. I just didn't feel right. So I went away. And
That's astounding, though. A young fellow like yourself, then struggling to make it, you finally get to the, quote, the top, opening act at Vegas, big billboard, your own act. You come out and you say, "What am I doing?" And you walk off the stage. Young entertainers obviously are a role model to an awful lot of kids. What would you tell them about this? The booze and the drugs and all. I mean, you now say you're not as funny.
it's not that I'm not as funny. It's just I'm different, man. I'm different. Like you're talking to me. We just met, right? Mm-hmm. You're talking to me. You don't know me, but you know about my past.
Yes.
So that gives you some idea of who I am. All right, that was part of me. That's a part of my life, but that's not who I am. You see? There's other parts of me, and haven't been able to show people that side of me. And most of the times when I show it, they just look, you know, they go, "What's the matter, Rich? What's wrong? Why don't you?" I'm saying, that's not me. You know, this is me. I was sitting here, I was thinking, I was looking at you, and I said, what would happen if you left here now, we leave the show, and you'd be black? And you couldn't change it. It would do something to you. You'd see, you'd really feel if everybody could interchange. Mm-hmm. Interchange and just be in each other's shoes, man. They'd know. I mean, life is just hard. Just you as a person. Your life is painful. And it has its joyousness, but it's painful. You're living, man, just being in the earth, doing your job. You talked about how sometimes you wonder if I go in there, can I cut it? Everybody feels that. And it's still a human thing. I don't feel no thing that you haven't felt because of my blackness other than that racist thing, you know? And it's got to affect both of us, I think.
I'm surprised you're sitting here alive.
Me too. That's by the grace of God, you know? And I'm grateful for that. I'm happy for that. And so I don't want to ever be like I was before. I don't want to ever feel that way. In fact, there's nothing I can do about it. It's not that I don't drink or don't use because I'm consciously going to change my life. There's nothing I can do about it. I'm afraid to drink. I'm afraid to use. Because I know it'll kill me.
I can't understand why you did that all those years. I mean, I don't mean...
Because I wanted to keep that hype up. Keep that same energy. Oh, you know, you did it last night and you were funny, but you better do it tonight. And it's seductive. The drug is, they call it cunning, baffling, and powerful. It eases up on you. Little by little, pretty soon you, boom. And it's not just entertainers. Sports, baseball, basketball, football, lawyers, doctors. You read it everywhere. You know, it's like an epidemic. They say it's an epidemic. I don't want to sound like Mr. Righteous now. I know people have to do what they have to do. Mm-hmm. But you can have a place, man, you can talk to them about it. You can't shout them away. You can't punish people away from it if they're going to do it. You know, there's a saying, you take a bottle away from a man 1,000 times, but he only has to put it down once.
And you really dealt with Hollywood life. Take a meeting with the producers and the money people and all that. How do those guys talk to you when they deal with you?
They talk to a person that they think is me, and they talk about it, and I listen to them, and I wonder who they're talking about, because it's not me.
What will they say?
Well, they just talk, you know. What about this movie? How about that? What do you like this? What do you want? Take a listen? Jeff, tell him about this. You know, Fred, you, tell him. Yeah. And it gets, and I just sit, patiently listen, and then I leave.
Well, how do you figure out what you're going to do yet? What movie you will do?
It used to be I just do them. You know, it's not as easy anymore for me to make those choices. I get a lot of scripts, and quite frankly, they're shit. You know, I look, and it's so I keep trying. I said, well, wish somebody would give me a challenging part. I mean, I don't have to be heavy. It can be comedy, but just good. Just where it's not me. You'll fix it, Richard. You know, it's a bad script, but don't worry, you'll fix it. I don't want that pressure on me no more, man. I mean, I don't. Because it drove me to do the things I used to do. You know, trying to keep that image going. Being invincible. I'm not.
What is the business of entertaining people? Is it a high calling, or is it a fast dollar? I mean...
It's a lot of fun for me. I mean, when I get on stage, if I'm cooking and I have that honest thing in my gut, and I get out there and I just let it go, there's no greater feeling for Richard Pryor. There's no greater feeling in the world. Nothing touches it.
Does anybody have the nerve in Hollywood today? I mean, you potentially can make anyone you hook up with a millionaire. Does anybody have the nerve to tell you when you are behaving like an idiot? Does anybody have
Deborah?
That? One woman.
Yeah.
Right? Any of the world surrounding, I know.
Business people I don't trust. So, I mean, because of that business, it's about business. So they're not my friends. They're businessmen, so they don't care if you mess your life up, but not during the film, as long as you don't die during the film.
That's terrible.
That's the truth.
Well, what do you think of those guys? You're still dealing with them every day, and you're in Hollywood. You're making movies.
I am responsible for my life.
Well, what about those guys? You still dealing with them?
They're businessmen.
Said, for example, that money isn't an important thing to you. Maybe now you got so much, what does it matter? But it said even in the old days, you ran up $500,000 of bills at one time.
Yeah. And I also ran up on the IRS, too. And they kind of brought my attention to, you may not care about money, Sam, but we do.
And we want it.
Yes, we want it, and some of your time. Just a little bit, just to keep you honest. Yeah.
You have paid a price.
Yeah. Don't everybody? You know, I wouldn't have it any other way than I've had it. I did it. I'm glad I did it. I don't regret it. It was the way I was. I was that way. I lived that life. And I did it to the fullest. I damn near killed myself. But that's what I did. I chose to make those mistakes.
And now you've chosen not to make them.
Yes.
And is that as high?
Yeah, I told you. It's like sometimes lithium. It's just like, it's all right. It worries me sometimes that I don't get angry. And I get, well, what kind of person am I? I said, Deborah, I didn't get angry. What did that kind of thing? He said, you did good, Richard. You're growing up.
After a long and closely followed interview like the one you just saw, often I'll go back to my office and a colleague, even one who was there at the taping, will say, yeah, but what do you really think Richard Pryor was like? And I'll say, you were there, but I really know what they're talking about. They're looking for some sort of fact or a quirk that will flash in the darkness of a personality. And this one fact does occur to me. Limousines in our business often become addictive. We all like them, and we always send them for our guests. Actually, no matter what they cost, we prefer it that way because at least we know where our guests are and when they'll get here. Few turn it down. But Richard Pryor wouldn't hear of it. In fact, he insisted on driving here to the studio alone, and you often see him driving around Beverly Hills in a Volkswagen. Except on this day, when I walked him back to his car after the interview, I couldn't help but notice Richard Pryor was, in fact, driving himself alone. But the car was a light, yellow, convertible Rolls Royce. And I couldn't help but think, he earned it. Thanks for being with us.
Johnny Salami, the Caboose brothers, they're in a funeral parlor. You carry Reberry, ha 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 ha. Yeah, live on the Sunset Strip, he talks about working for the mob. Now, the mob bit is the funniest stand-up bit ever. I'm sorry, but him talking about the mob and the ice pick, wait till it melts, asshole, is the greatest bit ever. Like I said, Sunset Strip is the greatest concert film ever. Buy it now. Now, Richard's talked about he was a blessed child in a way. He grew up where there was money. He never starved. He never had no lights. He never had no home. His parents had a decent amount of money because his parents owned a brothel, Whole House, and Pop's Pool Hall, which Pops was also a loan shark and a bookie. Let's not kid each other. So he grew up with money. He also grew up with a lot of crime, a lot of bad people, which is why he talks the way he does. He grew up MF this, MF that, da-da-da. That's just the way he was raised, and that's the way his stand-up comedy ended up being. Now, Eddie Murphy's talked about he's kind of had to up his F level, up to Richard, up to Red Fox, because he did not really grow up in that kind of environment. He did not hear the F word that much. So his comedy with a lot of cussing, he had to kind of make believe just a little, kind of bring up his F word just a little bit. But then again, Eddie Murphy, probably the second best stand-up ever. The third, who knows? But yeah, Richard is still number one. I'm sorry, Eddie Murphy. I'm sorry, Kevin Hart, Cat Williams, Jeff Foxworthy, Larry the Cable Guy, whoever. Richard Pryor is the number one stand-up comedian of all time. He is also the greatest storyteller of all time. Him sitting down, leading up to the jokes, doing the Mudbone character, or interviews like this. He's just fantastic. And I'm sorry I never got to see him live, but he was sick, had MS, not performing, not really able to walk, talk, by the time I was old enough to even go to a show of his. But the movies, Harlem Nights, fantastic. Moving, fantastic. The Toy, perfect. A lot of people don't like The Toy for some reason, but I thought it was a perfect movie. And his best acting was The Toy. From dramatic to comedy to heartfelt, just his best role. I don't care what anybody says. So anyways, if you like this kind of video, then like this video and subscribe to my channel, because you never, ever know what I have here in my archives that will be next. More Richard Pryor stuff? Stay tuned, everybody. Alright, see you later.
Monday, take an incredible journey into the jungles of Brazil. Sail down the Amazon and hunt for alligators at night as Two in the Town journeys to Brazil Monday at 7:30.